Have you ever wondered what your life would look like if you stopped holding back? Not tomorrow, not someday, but right now. We all carry this idea that the best version of ourselves lives somewhere in the future. Like we need more time, more success, more clarity before we can finally step into greatness. But here's the truth, no one wants to admit you're already that person. The only reason you haven't seen them yet is because you haven't acted like it. Right now, you're not becoming someone else. You're remembering who you already are. You're removing the noise, the fear, the hesitation. You're peeling away the layers of doubt, failure, and false stories you've been told for years, by others and by yourself. You see, you weren't born to be average. That's not just a nice quote, it's a fact. You were built with a fire that society tries to smother. You were made with dreams too big for small talk and fake smiles. And deep down you know it. Think back. There was a time you wanted more. A time when your heart beat faster at the thought of what could be. When the idea of success, freedom, purpose, it lit something inside you. But then came the noise. You're not ready. Who do you think you are? Be realistic. So you waited, you shrank. You put your dreams on a shelf and told yourself you'd try later. When things are stable, when the timing is better, when you're more prepared. But let's be honest, has that time ever come? Here's something powerful. You're not waiting for the right moment. You're avoiding your own potential, because stepping into your full power means responsibility. It means letting go of excuses. It means you can no longer hide behind what happened to you, or what you think you lack. And that's scary. But it's also the most freeing decision you'll ever make. You don't need more time. You need courage. Because deep inside, your future self is already alive. They've already fought the battles, broken through the limits, earned the respect, and become someone unshakable. And right now, they're waiting for you to catch up. That version of you doesn't hesitate. They don't second guess. They walk into the room like they belong, because they do. They don't hope to be great, they expect it. Because greatness is not about arrogance. It's about accepting who you were born to be, and refusing to settle for anything less. So ask yourself this. How much longer will you deny that person inside you? How many more excuses will you collect before you admit that the life you want is one decision away? People don't change when they're comfortable. They change when they're confronted with the cost of staying the same. And that's what this is. This is your confrontation. Not with the world, with yourself. Because the truth is, if you don't start acting like the best version of you now, no one's coming to do it for you. Not time, not luck, not motivation. You don't need a sign. This is the sign. And here's the reward if you stay. Clarity, power, identity. Not the kind that fades in a few hours. The kind that rebuilds everything. You'll finally understand why things felt out of place. Why you never felt fully aligned. Because you were living in delay, in hesitation, in a shadow of what you're capable of. But when you wake up to your future self, when you act as if you're already the best, something changes. Your posture, your energy, your voice, your results. This isn't about pretending. It's about unlocking the version of you that already knows what to do. That already has the answers. That doesn't need to be rescued, just unleashed. And when you realize that, when you feel that shift in your chest, the one that says, "This is who I am, and I'm done hiding," that's the moment everything starts to move. So stay with this, because if you listen closely, if you lean in just a little more, you'll realize you were never waiting on the future. The future has been waiting on you. Would you like me to continue with section 2 in the same tone and style? So if the future has been waiting on you, why are you still hesitating? The hesitation isn't because you're not capable. It's because you've been taught to doubt, conditioned to shrink. You've been told to stay humble, when what they really meant was stay small. Told to wait your turn, when in reality, no one was ever coming to give you permission. Here's the truth that will change your life the moment you accept it. The world responds not to your intentions, but to your identity. And identity is not something you inherit, it's something you decide. Most people spend their whole lives trying to improve habits, routines, productivity, without ever changing the core belief behind all of it. Who they think they are. That's why nothing sticks. That's why the progress never lasts. Because you're trying to act better, while still believing you're not enough. You're layering discipline on top of self-doubt and calling it growth. But you can't outperform the story you believe about yourself. If you see yourself as broken, you'll build everything from a place of fixing. If you see yourself as second best, you'll chase goals that were never worthy of you to begin with. That's why your mindset isn't just important. It's the root of everything. You don't get what you want. You get what you are. So the question becomes, who are you choosing to be? Nothing now in this moment you have the power to shift. Not gradually, instantly. This isn't about faking it. It's about waking up. Tapping into the identity that's been buried under fear, under failure, under every opinion that told you to be realistic. You don't need to be more. You just need to remember. Because the greatest transformations don't come from gaining something new. They come from removing what doesn't belong. Every belief that tells you you're not ready, that's not your voice. That's the echo of someone else's limitation. Every time you say, I can't, it's not the truth speaking, it's the past. And if you keep listening to the past, you'll keep repeating it. You can't build a powerful future by staying loyal to a powerless identity. This is your chance to break the pattern. Stop chasing confidence and start choosing certainty. The most unstoppable people in the world don't wait to feel ready. They decide, they declare who they are. And then they move through the world in alignment with that truth. Whether anyone believes them or not, you have that same power. You must stop waiting for external proof. Confidence doesn't come from achievement. It comes from ownership. From stepping into the room and knowing you belong there. Before there's evidence, before there's applause, before anyone agrees. Because the moment you show up as your future self, life starts to adjust. Opportunities respond to energy. People respond to certainty. The universe responds to action backed by identity. When you operate from the place of I already am, everything aligns. You speak differently. You walk differently. You think bigger. You set boundaries. You attract clarity. Because you're not guessing who you are anymore. You've decided. And that decision is your greatest weapon. Right now, someone is out there getting the results you want. Not because they're smarter, luckier, or more talented, but because they're acting in alignment with the version of themselves that already owns it. They stopped negotiating with doubt, and they started living from identity. You can do the same. You don't need more motivation. You need permission from yourself. You need to drop the waiting, drop the overthinking, drop the idea that you're still on the way to something better. You are the better. You are the upgrade. You are the answer. But only if you show up as that. Start asking yourself, how does the best version of me think? Speak, react, lead, love, operate under pressure? Now start doing exactly that. Even if it feels unfamiliar. Especially when it feels unfamiliar. That's how you rewrite the script. Change doesn't start with a morning routine. It starts with identity. And when that shifts, everything else follows. Because once you see yourself differently, you'll stop accepting what no longer fits. And that's when the future stops being an idea and becomes your reality. And when you finally step into that energy, when you act without waiting, speak without shrinking, move without asking, something powerful begins to shift. You stop chasing outcomes, you start commanding them. You stop wondering if you're enough. You begin walking like you are, because the moment you embody that future version of yourself, the world starts seeing you differently. But more importantly, you start seeing yourself differently. And that changes everything. Doubt doesn't disappear, but it loses power. The fear doesn't vanish, but it stops making your decisions. And the noise, all the opinions, the judgment, the silence from people who don't believe in you, it fades into the background. Because when you're locked into your purpose, you stop needing applause. You stop needing validation. You start needing results. You start needing impact. And that only happens when you operate from identity, not emotion. Because emotion will lie to you. It will convince you you're tired when you're just unchallenged. It will whisper that you're stuck when really, you're just scared to stretch. It will tell you to wait until the timing is right. When deep down you know the timing is right now, right here. While your heart is still beating with hunger. While your future self is still within reach, and maybe you failed before. Maybe you've tried to rise in the past and fell flat. But failure is not the end. It's a filter. It filters out the ones who want change from the ones who are change. If you're still breathing, you're still building. If you're still dreaming, it's not too late. You haven't missed your moment. You just haven't claimed it yet. And you claim it with action. Consistent, clear. Convicted you don't need to know how the whole path unfolds. You just need to take the next step like it belongs to you. like you've already earned it. Like this is who you are now. Not someone hoping to become something great, but someone who is great, and simply aligning life with that truth. You do that long enough, and guess what? The world adjusts. Your surroundings shift, your relationships evolve, your standards rise. Not because of luck or magic or timing, but because you chose to stop waiting and start becoming, and not becoming someone else, becoming you. The real you, the powerful you, the version of you that doesn't apologize for wanting more, that doesn't shrink around small minds, that doesn't lower their fire just because others feel cold. You owe it to yourself, not to play the part, but to own the role, fully, boldly, without hesitation, because your future self, they're already living that life. They've already pushed through every excuse, every lie, every fear. They're not wondering what could be. They're living it, and the only thing left is for you to catch up. So now it's no longer a matter of if you can become that version of you. It's a matter of when you'll finally stop resisting it. Every day you hesitate, you delay a life that's already yours. Every moment you overthink, you trade clarity for confusion. Every time you hold back, you reinforce the lie that you need to be more, do more, prove more. When all you really need to do is decide to live like the best version of you has already arrived, because they exist in the way you walk into a room, in the way you speak about your goals like they're facts, in the way you no longer accept good enough where greatness is possible. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your standards. And the only way to raise your life is to raise what you expect from yourself, not in theory, not in talk, but in action. In posture, in energy, in everything. Let that sink in. You set the tone. Not your past, not your circumstances, not the opinions of people too afraid to chase their own dreams. You decide what's allowed. What gets your time? What gets your focus? What gets your energy? You're the one who either feeds your future or fuels your excuses and excuses. They're seductive. They sound like logic. They sound like safety. But they're just fear wearing a mask. And you've worn that mask long enough. It's time to breathe differently, to think differently, to move like someone who knows they're not here to play the background role in their own story. You are not just here to survive. You are here to create, to shape the direction of your life with intention so strong. The universe has no choice but to respond, but intention alone is not enough. The world doesn't respond to what you hope for. It responds to what you're willing to demand from yourself. And when you raise your demand, when you stop making excuses and start making moves, that's when you create momentum that can't be stopped. Because the most dangerous person in the world is the one who finally sees their worth and refuses to live beneath it ever again. You are that person. Not someday. Not when things calm down. Not when it's convenient. Now there's power inside you that's been silent for too long. Not because it's gone, but because it's waiting. Waiting for you to choose it, to act like it, to live like it, and when you do, you won't need motivation anymore. You'll be driven by identity, by the fire that says, "This is who I am. I no longer need to become it. I just need to live it." And the moment you live it, the moment you stop asking for permission and start walking like you were born for more, that's when your entire life will shift to match. The time is now, and it always has been. And once you start living like it's already yours, the world has no choice but to move. Not because it suddenly became easier, but because you became clearer. You stopped asking life to hand you direction and started creating. You stopped waiting for a sign and realized you are the sign. You stopped hoping that something would change, and instead you became the change. That's when momentum hits, not the shallow kind that fades in a week, but the kind that's built from consistency, identity, and complete internal alignment. You wake up with purpose. You show up with presence, and even when it's hard, especially when it's hard, you don't retreat. You rise, because now you're not acting based on feeling. You're moving based on identity. You've already decided who you are, and everything else follows. The late nights, the early mornings, the silence, the sacrifice. They're no longer painful. They're just part of it. They're part of what success costs. Not the kind of success that's flashy. The kind that's real. The kind that builds legacies. The kind that makes your future self proud. Because they know you didn't fake this. You fought for this, and make no mistake. The world will test you. It will question your new standards. It will challenge your new identity. Because the minute you stop playing small, you threaten everything that wants to stay average. You threaten comfort. You threaten passivity. You threaten the narrative that says this is just how it is. But guess what? You're not here to keep that narrative alive. You're here to rewrite it. To tear it down. To build something different, something uncommon, that takes courage. Not the kind people clap for, the kind that happens when no one is watching. When you choose discipline over distraction. When you say no to what's easy and yes to what stretches you. When you stop settling for progress that's convenient and start chasing the kind that transforms. Because real progress isn't comfortable. It's earned. It's built in silence and revealed in power. And you're already doing it. You've already shifted something. Maybe you haven't seen the full reward yet. Maybe the outside hasn't caught up with the inside. But it will. Because what you're building isn't surface level. It's foundational. And once the foundation is built, nothing can shake it. You'll stop needing external proof. Because the confidence isn't in the results, it's in the alignment. You know who you are now. You've owned it. You've walked in it. And there's no going back. Not to doubt. Not to smallness. Not to pretending to be someone less than what you were born to be. From this moment on, everything you do, every move you make goes the truth. Your future self is not waiting. They're watching, they're cheering, they're ready. And now, so are you. So now what? Now you act without hesitation. You move like every step is shaping something greater, because it is. You don't need another sign, another motivational quote, another perfect plan. You just need to honor the decision you've already made. The decision to stop waiting. The decision to stop blending in. The decision to stop playing at half capacity when you were built for full power. You've already seen the difference. You felt the shift. That pull in your chest, that quiet fire in your gut. It's not imagination. It's your future self, refusing to let you coast. Refusing to let you go numb again. Refusing to let you waste even one more moment living below your own potential. Because now you know, your future is not some distant fantasy. It's a reflection of the habits you protect, the standards you demand, the energy you bring, the boundaries you hold, and the identity you refuse to abandon. You've done the inner work. You've broken the illusion that change is some slow, fragile process. It's not. Change happens the moment you say, this is who I am now. Not in theory, not when it's convenient. Now, and from that moment forward, your words, your actions, your choices, they align, they match, they build. Every time you speak truth over your life, you reinforce the new story. Every time you say no to your old patterns, you prove your power. Every time you act like the best version of you, not later now, you shift the entire trajectory of your life. And no one can take that from you, not failure. Not fear, not circumstances. Because once you've seen your power, once you've felt your fire, once you've owned your identity, you're not the same. You walk differently. You choose differently. You lead differently. Because you're no longer trying to earn your worth. You're expressing it. You don't need to chase greatness. You are greatness expressed through discipline, through resilience, through unshakable belief in who you've already become. So the question is no longer can I. The question is will I? Will I keep showing up when no one sees it? Will I keep building when it's not perfect? Will I keep believing even when it's hard? If the answer is yes, and it is, then understand this. The distance between where you are and where you want to be is not time. It's not talent. It's not luck. It's alignment, and you're already in motion. Already rising. Already ahead of the version of you that used to hesitate. This is your momentum. This is your moment to now lean into it. Own it. And don't stop because the best version of you, they're not waiting anymore. They're walking with you right here, right now, every step until the world catches up. Every great transformation in history started with a single choice. The choice to step beyond fear and uncertainty into something greater. That choice isn't reserved for heroes or the lucky few. It's available to you right now. It's available every moment you refuse to accept limits placed on you by doubt or past failures. This is where you rewrite your story. Not by waiting for the perfect conditions or a sign from the universe, but by deciding with unwavering clarity that the person you're becoming is not a distant dream. It's your reality in the making. Your future self isn't some fantasy. They're alive inside you, waiting for you to act like it. And when you act like the best version of yourself, You activate a force far beyond what motivation alone can create. You tap into your deepest source of power, your identity. Because action fueled by who you know you are doesn't rely on fleeting feelings. It doesn't get derailed by setbacks. It keeps moving forward with relentless focus. So ask yourself, what would your future self do right now? How would they speak, think, and move? The answers hold the key to unlocking your next step. You might feel fear or resistance. That's normal. It means you're on the edge of growth. The future self inside you isn't asking for perfection. They're asking for courage, for commitment, for faith in the process, even when the road isn't clear. Because what separates those who achieve from those who don't isn't resources or luck. It's consistency. The daily decisions to show up as your best, even when it's uncomfortable or uncertain. Remember, the best version of you is already here. They're ready to live fully, love deeply, and lead boldly. They're waiting for you to stop shrinking and start stepping forward with everything you've got. So stop waiting, stop doubting, start acting, because the future you deserves no less. Your journey isn't just about becoming better. It's about becoming who you were always meant to be, and that journey begins now.